Oh, blogging, you've taught me oh so much. Hi bloggers, welcome back to a BOH TV and another day of the Blogging Basics series. Today I want to make it a little more chatty and just talk to you about the biggest blogging lessons I've learned over the past 5 years. Let's just get comfy here. I find this so interesting, and let me tell you, it is unbelievable how much I've learned over the past 5 years. And before we dig in, I would absolutely love it if you subscribe to this channel, so you know what to do. The first lesson that I want to talk to you about is that blogging doesn't look the same for everyone. This is one of the biggest lessons that I've learned. Blogging doesn't look the same for everyone. We're all at different stages in our journey and we're all trying to achieve different things. It's so easy to presume that we're all doing this for the same reasons, and that can actually really cloud our judgment when it comes to working towards what we actually want to achieve. We've all got our own goals when it comes to building an online presence, and whatever those are, it's important to respect that. The second lesson that I want to talk to you about is that you have to create your own community. When you first start blogging, it can become really easy to fall into the build it and they will come mentality. But you need to change your mindset about that as soon as possible. You have to work really hard to build a community. There is room for everything and everyone. That's the really great thing. The blogging world can never be full. Take your time to find your feet and really focus on building relationships, because you never know what could come of that. The third lesson that I've learned is that it's not easy. This is such a huge misconception, even to this day. It's not all free trips and PR companies constantly throwing freebies at you, and if you're in blogging for those reasons, then you're not going to get very far. While it might be painted like that, you actually need to be really savvy if you want to take your blog beyond more than just a hobby. You have to wear all these different hats and be skilled in all of these different areas. And I mean, most of us are running this show by ourselves, unless you are in a position where you can or have hired some help. And if you are in that position, I would 100% suggest you go for it. And while some people may roll their eyes at me if I say that I get really stressed, it doesn't take away the fact that blogging is a really complex business. And if people say, oh, well, this is something you've chosen to do, so you have the power to change that, I'd say, well, if you're doing what you love every single day, why wouldn't you take a chance at that? The fourth lesson I want to talk to you about is that it's important to listen to your audience and create content for them. And what I'm referring to here is my own content and how that has progressed over the years. The blogging world is so busy and there's a lot of content coming out, and just because you publish content and put it out there doesn't necessarily mean that people are actually going to come and read it. But it's been really eye-opening to me, because not only do I prepare myself for that, I prepare myself for people not to read my content. But you'll find that if you network with people, then those people will be willing to offer you some really useful help and advice. And if every single piece of content isn't a success, then that's absolutely fine, because you know that your content is a fundamental part of building your online presence. And if you always have this mentality that you are sharing things as your brand, so I always have the a branch of Holly mentality, that is going to help you in addition to so many other things. But the fascinating thing to me is that my community, you, just keeps growing. You keep wanting things from me and asking me so many questions. And so whenever this happens, I always look into myself and ask myself if I feel that this is a thing to take forward and create something with. And when I know it's something that people want, I have to do it justice. I can't just publish a blog post and be like, oh, hey guys, I've put a blog post out. Come and take a look, just thought you should know. You have to spend a lot of time bringing people inside your brand and taking them behind the scenes to show how you bring this stuff to life. I do as much as I can for my blog posts because one, I know that you want them, and two, I know that they'll be of use to you. That is one of the things that I've really taken on board, that I've learned so far. Because from doing this, my page views have grown to over 80,000, and that's like doubled since January. That's like 3 months ago. It just completely amazes me how my traffic and engagement is still constantly growing at such a fast rate. It blows my mind that you are not just coming to my blog, you're actually sitting down and making the time to read the content as well. I mean, there are so many people who blog about what I blog about, but you care enough to come to me, and that is everything. That's what really means everything to me. And now with like the YouTube channel, people are saying, okay, well, I know that she can write, but she can make videos too. I'm going to take a chance on that and see what she's got to say. That is amazing, because people like to consume content in different ways, and I know you like to consume content in different ways. So some people might say, oh, that's really good in a blog post, but how about a video on it, or a podcast? Oh, I'd love that information in an ebook. And I have to take all of that into consideration, and some of those things I'm working on right now. Like the Blogging Breakthrough magazine, people want it to be bigger and better, so I'm working with my team to make it bigger and better. And even if you put something out there and it's not perfect, that's okay, because when you get those comments that say, I really appreciated this, or this was exactly what I needed right now, you'll know that your heart was in it, and it was easy for your heart to be in it. If you know your audience so well and you create content that they want, that is how you run with things as a blogger. That is what I've learned. And the final thing that I want to talk to you about is to ask for help. This is something that I've always struggled with, but especially these last, I'd say 7 to 8 months in particular. I have a really hard time asking for help and knowing how to delegate. I don't know why. I don't really have a solid reason for it. I usually feel fine by myself and that I can cope with everything, unless I come across like a leak in the sink, and then I'm like, oh, okay, I need someone to help me with this now. But apart from those kind of things, I usually feel like I can cope pretty well by myself, so I just don't ask for help. But what I've learned is that I can't, and I really need to stop pretending that I can. And it's not only that you need to recognise that you can't do everything, but also that you shouldn't have to. It's possible to get something done even better than you ever could have imagined if you ask for help and work as a team. I've really learnt this with the Blogging Breakthrough magazine, which is something that I used to do all by myself, and now I have a designer and a team of writers who help me put this out into the world every single month. I'm also learning this with my own business, where my fiance Tom and my mum have both come on board to help me in little but really important ways to help me manage some of my systems and processes. They're both huge things, and I'm really trying to embrace more of the teamwork mentality, which is something that I never used to do. And when my family actually offered to help me, this actually made me feel really humbled, because I just feel so lucky that I have these people who are willing to support me in this season of my life, because they recognise my weaknesses and they can say, okay, well, I can take this off your plate. I think those are the 5 biggest lessons I've learned, those last 2 in particular. I just thought it would be interesting to show you what I've had to overcome mentally over these past few months and over the past 5 years that I've been blogging, and most of these things I didn't even really anticipate. So I would love to know the biggest lessons that you've learned as a blogger or as you've been building your online presence. Was there one that stands out to you in particular? Please feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. And if you're looking for a place where you can be held accountable and start networking with other bloggers, then I would absolutely love for you to join my free Facebook community called the Blogging Breakthrough Community. I'll leave a link to that in the description below. That's all for today, bloggers. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Make sure you subscribe for more blogging basics so you can get one step closer to a breakthrough. You just bossed it.